I rise today to talk about this matter of public importance, and I'm quite happy to do so. And I'll get to the Minister in a minute, Member for Batman. But, Mr Deputy Speaker, the Labor Party are all about political point scoring. They're all about political point scoring. Their MPI debates, their 90-second statements, their constituent statements, they're all negative, nothing positive. And on this side of the House, we're actually very positive about the Australian Defence Force. And we hear from the member for Batman, and he gets up on this MPI and says the reason why the Defence Minister needs to go is because he hasn't made enough speeches. He hasn't made enough speeches. Well, member for Batman, it's not about speeches, mate, it's about performance. It's about performance. That's what counts. That's what counts here. The member for Port Adelaide gets up and says, well, this minister's got slip-ups and incompetence, and then went on a rant that was totally unfounded. Totally unfounded, member for Port Adelaide. The member for Canberra, who's decided to leave and not even stick around for the rest of the debate, gets up and wants to go on about ADF pay and conditions. Yet she was a member that was part of the previous government that saw the biggest fiscal turnaround in this country since Federation in 1901. We left them with billions in the bank. They racked up billions in debt. We have $1 billion a month that we're repaying in debt, and she wants to go on about ADF pay and conditions. Well, she should have thought of that before she spent a truckload of money and left all these people up here in the gallery and every other Australian with a heap of debt.
Order. Member for Petrie, resume his seat, and the
just a point of order.
For Hunter.
Can I just seek clarification as to whether the member said Johnson or Johnston?
No, that's not a point of order.
I just wasn't sure which.
No, it's not a point of order. It's a point of no point of order. And in fact, it's disorderly. The member for Hunter should know that, and I'll call the member for Petrie.
The member for Macon spoke about South Australian members and so forth. Well, defence affects all members of this parliament. The defence affects all Australians. And then he wants to give us advice on defence acquisitions. Well, on this side of the House, we take our advice from the minister, but also the assistant minister, the member for Fadden, who had a distinguished career in the Defence Force, as well as the member for Bass, who spoke on this MPI today, who was a brigadier in the Defence Force, a distinguished brigadier, and sits on our Defence Backbench Committee. So I'm quite happy and think we'll take our recommendations from those members on our side of Parliament. But no, the Labor Party are negative, and I'll talk about the Minister for Defence. I'm quite happy to talk about the Minister for Defence because when I meet people, I take them and judge them by when I meet them. And I've spoken to the Minister of Defence on several occasions, and I believe he's passionate about the ADF. He wants a strong defence force. He believes that Australia needs to have a strong defence force. And let's look at what the Minister said today in the Senate. Let's see what he said today in the Senate. He said, the frustrations of successive governments with the performance of both the Collins-class sustainment and the AWD program are well documented. I am committed to leading the effort to fix our problems. I did express my frustrations in the past performance of ASC. In these comments, well, listen up, Shadow Minister. I did express, in these comments I did ever intend to cause offence, and I regret that offence may have been taken. So that's what he said. Let me read that again. I did express my frustrations, and in these comments I did never intend to cause offence, and I regret that offence may have been taken. But that's not good enough for them. That's not good enough for them because they're Mr and Mrs Negativity. What is Labor's record on defence? Well, we've heard it from other members, and I won't go into it all again, but we know that they launched a defence white paper and then cut $16 billion out of defence. You know, and many members, new members that sit around me here, we made the decision to run for seats because of your past performance, because of the cuts that you made to the defence. Many things that you did, and you had the gall to come in here and raise this with an MPI debate. Defence spending dropped to 1.56%, the lowest since 1938. Now, we've made a commitment to invest in defence, and we will continue to do that. That's what we'll continue to do. and we will continue to ensure
Order.
that taxpayers' money is spent well.
Time has expired.